I'm Claudia Catania, and you're listening to Playing on Air.
Hi, I'm Amy Ryan.
Hi, I'm Hamish Linklater. Before the episode, we have a favor to ask.
We're preparing to record the next season of Playing on Air, but we can't do it without the support of our listeners like you.
So if you're able to chip in $5, $10, or $500, or more than that even, join with us to get theater workers back on the job.
And then back to your earbuds and speakers this fall.
Visit playingonair.org/donate to give online.
playingonair.org/donate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
And now, back to the show.
You are about to hear the world premiere of Clean Slate by Pulitzer Prize finalist and Obie winner Rajiv Joseph. His acclaimed plays include Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo and Guards at the Taj. Clean Slate is part 2 of a thriller that begins with last week's fake news. So in case you haven't heard that episode yet, hit pause, back up, and start there. Our cast today includes Oscar nominee Amy Ryan from The Office and Eden Marryshow from Broadway's Inc. They're joined by Jeremy Shamos and Eisa Davis, back from last week as news anchors Bob and Fran, and by director Mark Brokaw. And now, Clean Slate. It's a few hours after the conclusion of fake news.
Testing. This is Special Agent Vincent Lazar along with Special Agent Angela Mallinson.
Angie.
Sorry, Angie. Special Agent Angie? That sounds so juvenile.
That's the point. I want to present as young.
Okay. Special Agent Angie and Special Agent Vince. We sound like some kid's show, like some animal puppets on cable access in the 80s.
That would be something, huh?
My knee jerk? You're not really a kid's person.
Yeah, especially these days with their nut allergies. I love nuts. I'm not about to curb my nut intake on account of some weak-ass kids.
Anyhow, what are we doing? Yes! Case Bravo, 19A. Los Angeles, 22nd July. Debrief with KLWP radio personality Bob Tunley after Incident 17. Okay. Here we are. Hey, man. State your name. Bob? Bob, you okay, brother?
What?
I need you to focus. State your name.
Bob... Robert Crane Tunley.
Your middle name is Crane? Like the bird?
Or is it like the author, Stephen?
Can someone tell me what... Please.
So listen, Bob. This is a debrief. We need to get on record exactly what you saw, what you experienced. We need to get to the bottom of what happened today.
It was them, wasn't it? It was Truth Hurts? What is so funny?
He's upset.
You're damn right I'm upset.
Deep breaths,
Don't tell me to take deep breaths. What? They killed Frank. They killed Frank and Fran.
Fran is fine. We already talked to Fran.
Fran's alive?
Fran's alive. Wait, is Fran alive? I get confused because we got a Fran and then we got a Frank.
Fran's alive. Frank is dead.
Fran's alive. She's doing fine. She's drinking a Coke.
You want a Coke, Bob?
A Coke?
Or a coffee? That's about the extent. Angie drank all the Diet Sprite.
I did not.
Then who did?
Some Diet Sprite-loving elf.
You see what I have to deal with? Bob, we're talking about elves here.
What is going on?
That's what we want to know from you. Walk us through it.
There was interference. Massive interference during our broadcast. I was reporting on Truth Hurts. Then they came into the studio.
They. Who were or are they? Is this one of those pronoun games? Or are you talking plural individuals entering the studio?
3 men. I don't know. They could have been 4. They were wearing masks.
What kind of masks?
Kabuki-masks.
Kabuki? What the hell is that?
Angie, you commoner. Kabuki is a classical Japanese dance drama.
Is that right? Wow.
Did you catch them? Did you make arrests?
Easy, cowboy, don't yell. We're working our way through arrests. So what do kabuki masks look like?
I don't know. They're white and red.
Because, and this is interesting, Fran told us they had stockings over their head.
Pantyhose. She said pantyhose.
So someone is lying.
I am not lying.
Again, the volume, Bob. Take it down like 20 notches, would you? I already got a migraine going here.
What you're saying is 3 intruders.
Maybe there were 4.
Well, what was it, 3 or 4, Bob?
I don't know. I hid under my desk.
What a hero.
They had guns. They shot Frank. They killed our producer, Frank.
Seriously, man. I get you're all distressed and all, but she does have a migraine. And if you keep yelling, she's gonna lose it. So can we keep our volume at a dull roar here?
What do you want?
What happened next?
I thought they shot and killed Fran, but...
But how are you supposed to know? You were under your desk. How are we actually supposed to take any of your testimony seriously, being that you were under your desk? You haven't actually gotten any medals for bravery in your life, have you, Mr. Tunley?
Angie, come on. My man's been through something today. Can you lay off? You wanna go get yourself a Coke?
I don't drink Coke!
And she's gone. Sorry about her. She's got this Diet Sprite addiction, and there's nothing left in the machine out there, and... Look, Bob, before she comes back in here, can you take a deep breath and think of anything else that you can remember? Anything you haven't covered?
Who did this?
Who did what?
Who broke into our studio and murdered Frank?
Bob, I'm serious. Angie will literally send you to Guantanamo if you keep yelling. She's done far worse for much less. A dude winked at her once and she renditioned the poor guy to Singapore. I think he ended up getting publicly caned or something. So lower your voice. If Angie can't scare up a can of Diet Sprite, she's gonna come back in here and be an absolute monster. Now listen. The sad news is that yes, unfortunately, your producer Frank passed away today from a stroke.
A stroke? They shot him in the head. I saw it. I heard it.
You told us as clear as day. You went under your desk so fast you couldn't even ascertain if there were 3, 4, or 5 intruders. And you don't have a notion if they were wearing kabuki masks or wearing pantyhose over their faces. Frank died of a stroke. It's a terrible loss for your news team. Unfortunately, his doctor warned him of his high blood pressure, but he neglected his medication. Sad.
I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
You ever read Plato?
What?
Plato, the Greek philosopher. My man said the natural world we perceive through our senses reveals only a shadow version of the ideal truth. Dude would have gotten along no problem in this day and age. You know what you saw, but you don't. Not really. You're all messed up in the head about it. And I'm not judging, Bob. I'm really not. I saw things in Afghanistan I can't square with reality. Or whatever it is I consider reality. And people watch the news and come away with many different ideas of what is true, you know? All I'm saying is...
Oh, God bless Ramona. Guess what she had stashed away in her vehicle?
Nectar of the gods?
Nectar of the gods. It's just so effing crisp.
I was just explaining to Bob about Frank, the producer's unfortunate blood pressure situation and how it led to a fatal stroke.
That is not what happened. I saw his head explode. There was blood all over the wall. He was shot. He was shot by a gunman in a mask. Frank was shot. And so was Fran.
Bob, brother, do you realize how crazy you sound?
Excuse me?
Let's not use that word. That's not a word we use here. You're not crazy, are you, Bob?
I'm not.
I mean, do you have a history of mental illness in your family?
What? No. I don't.
Besides the depression.
Excuse me?
Look, I have it too. Any sentient being who's not depressed is criminally insane. Now, I'm not judging.
No one is judging.
You depressed, Vince?
Clinically and constantly.
You see? We're all in this together. We just want to get everything we need down here, safe and sound.
I don't understand what is going on.
You watch Netflix, Mr. Tunley?
What?
Netflix. Do you watch it? Do you stream content for entertainment purposes? I mean, some people tend towards HBO, Amazon, Hulu. What do you watch?
I don't watch those things. I watch the news.
Anyhow, look, we need you to understand a few things, and it's very important that you listen closely to what I'm about to say and try your best to understand. Can you do that for me, Mr. Tunley?
Yes.
There is no terrorist group called Truth Hurts. It's simply a plot for an upcoming Netflix series. It's a new viral commercial approach. Some people, yourself included, it seems, have taken this campaign a little too much to heart.
What?
They don't exist. Not properly. They're just some characters in a TV show. And you and Fran are paid actors participating in a grassroots-level publicity campaign for the new J.J. Abrams Netflix series Clean Slate. Hello? Bob, you awake?
I don't... What?
J.J. Abrams, he did Lost. He does the Star Wars movies.
Even I know the dude.
I don't know what you're telling me.
Play him the recording of Fran. This is Fran, your colleague who you assume got shot and killed while you were busy tunneling under your desk.
My name is Fran Mercer of KLWP Los Angeles. This is to confirm that, in my capacity as an anchor for KLWP, a CBS affiliate, I am also a paid actor working in cooperation with Netflix to publicize the upcoming J.J. Abrams series Clean Slate. The incident that took place today, the 22nd of July, was a commercial stunt to increase awareness on social media in order to promote this upcoming series.
That is not... That can't be Fran. That can't be Fran. She didn't say that.
I mean, Plato would agree with you insofar as all sonic and light-induced stimuli may in fact be a trick of the gods. But as it pertains to our limited field of reality, that is actually Fran, and she did actually say that. Also, and I shouldn't tell you this, but there's talk that Fran and possibly you, if you're amenable, might be given an executive producer credit on the show.
No, don't say that. We don't have confirmation of that yet.
I know, but I just thought he should know. It's a possibility. You ever get EP, Bob?
What are you talking about? You said you're FBI.
We are, but these days, as the job requires, we're pretty well versed in entertainment law.
This is what Plato was talking about all along.
Confusion and conflict over which television shows were real and which were fabricated led to over 2,000 American deaths last year alone.
I am not a paid actor. I know what I saw. I am not some puppet.
Bob, listen. I know you're confused. I know you suffer from depression. I know you haven't been taking your meds. I know you think Frank got shot by a mysterious gang of Kabuki-masked media terrorists called Truth Hurts. And for all I know, you believe the Loch Ness Monster ate Fran and that the zombie apocalypse is nigh. But I have a death certificate signed by the county coroner saying Frank died of a stroke. And I have a signed affidavit from Fran saying she is a paid actor under Netflix's payroll.
Payroll actually goes through Abrams' company, Bad Robot, tax purposes.
We need you to tell us the truth, that you're a paid actor, Bob. Because if you're not, then for all we know, you might be an agent of Truth Hurts.
You just said Truth Hurts didn't exist. You said it was just a TV show. How could I be in cahoots with them?
Cahoots. That's an old-fashioned word. Cahoots.
What happened today? Was the American media establishment attacked by a shadowy terrorist organization? Or did we witness a viral marketing campaign for a new Netflix series? I mean, who knows, really? It's a coin toss.
Welcome to the KLWP News Hour. I'm Bob Tunley. In a world where the media is under attack and the truth is nowhere to be found, heroes burst up in the most unlikely places. This fall on Netflix, J.J. Abrams brings you Clean Slate. Clean Slate. It's what everyone wants.
You just heard Clean Slate by Rajiv Joseph, directed by Mark Brokaw. It featured Eden Marryshow as Agent Vincent Lazar, Amy Ryan as Agent Angie Mallinson, Jeremy Shamos as Bob Tunley, and Eisa Davis as Fran Mercer. Special thanks to the Axe Houghton Foundation, champions of the Wordsmith Duo commissions, for making these two special episodes possible. Hi, everybody. Can you all say your name and your role in this recording today so listeners can match your voices to your name?
My name is Amy Ryan, and I'm reading the role of Angie.
Hello, I'm Eden Marryshow. I'm reading the role of Vincent.
And I'm Jeremy Shamos, Bob Tunley.
My name is Rajiv Joseph. I'm the playwright.
Mark Brokaw, director.
Thanks. Rajiv Joseph, playwright. This play, Clean Slate, is part of Playing on Air's Wordsmith Duo. Can you tell us about what that is and how it worked for you and your duo partner, Doug Wright?
Yes, well, Doug is one of my favorite playwrights and a hero of mine, so it was a real treat to be able to be paired with him. We got on the phone and just kind of started talking about things that were on our minds and ways that we might approach writing these short plays that might work in tandem. And I think because we're both at least partly aware of what's going on in the world, we were drawn towards this idea of the problem with how people perceive what is true and what isn't true, the media, fake news, all these different things that kind of percolate through our consciousness and the media and our culture. And so Doug kind of came up with this idea for his play, Fake News, and it was my task then, after reading his, to kind of create a companion piece, and that's what this is.
Who came up with Truth Hurts as a name for a terrorist organization and the idea of a Netflix series cover-up?
The name Truth Hurts was Doug's invention, and that was part of his play. Initially, my idea for a companion piece was different than this one, but once you kind of engage and enter into the process, you know, that my first few swipes at my piece were failures, as is often the case. And so I came into this one because his piece is so strikingly, you know, kind of shocking, and it's a big event that happens in his piece. And so I felt that my piece had to kind of honor that. It was my idea to kind of bring in this final twist of maybe this all is not real. Maybe it is a Netflix series.
Yeah. Amy and Eden, when you first looked at the script and you saw your roles were federal agents, Angie Mallinson and Vincent Lazar, did the names and titles alone start offering information and jumpstart you into any particular direction, or do you read through a script neutrally?
I would say neutrally. This one was interesting because usually I don't say the words out loud. And when I was reading it, I was acting it out in my mind, and I was being really vocal with it.
Yeah. When I first read it, I mean, I love how quickly Rajiv jumped into these two characters. We're catching up to them. They've already, from the second line, they're already into their banter. They've already taken a sidebar from, you know, official business, and they're already joking around. So it was kind of like anything's going to be possible with these two.
Yeah.
To me, I think that what happens between Vince and Angie is that they have this strategy, and they're playing characters. Their purpose in interrogating Bob is to fill him with doubt about what he's seen, about what he believes has happened. And so in doing that, they play these characters, and she plays this sort of loose, short-tempered, diet Sprite addicted, literal-minded cop, and he plays this sort of cultural vulture, overeducated Afghanistan veteran who has a kind of like poetic view of the world. But whether those are actually their real personalities is also in question. And that's part of the whole idea of this entire piece, is that you never actually know what is true.
Right. Mark and Jeremy, Agent Vince mocks Bob's fears and claims, and he says something like, "For all I know, you believe the zombie apocalypse is nigh." So, think Rajiv is voicing something there?
I feel like Bob is me listening to this, just listening to the news every night. I have a news feed that has news from the left, from the right, from in the middle, and you'll see 3 articles bumped up right against each other talking about the same event from a totally different perspective. One is A, one's right in the middle, and the other is Z. And it's that feeling every day of, what do I believe? What is true? Who's telling me the truth? And I think that's where Bob is in this. It's like, what? I lived through this thing. But they are successful in making him doubt something he actually lived through. And we're living through it every day also. And so I think it's a really smart evocation of sort of what we live through every day on the street.
Angie says near the end of the play, any sentient being who's not depressed is criminally insane. Countering that, what in life, art, theater, or otherwise has recently made you feel deeply hopeful? Jeremy?
My kids.
Yeah.
What makes me hopeful is that nobody's giving up. I mean, just talking about the news, that people are still reporting, and people are still trying to get out there what they believe. And I take hope in that. People haven't given up yet.
Agree.
Yeah. I guess I find hope in the fact that there is outrage. Once there's not that, I guess that kind of speaks to what Mark just said, is that once we're beaten down to the point where there's no more outrage and there's just acquiescence, which is, kind of what happens to Bob. He goes from outrage to confusion to acquiescence. That's the danger zone.
As long as love exists, people say it's cheesy, but I feel like as long as, like you said, your kids, as long as there's love between people, I think there'll always be hope. I think story also gives me hope, stories that do have happy endings, where I feel like we've been really privileged for the last 20, 30, 40 years to live in a society where we can have these crazy dark endings, and that's supposed to be art, as opposed to, now we're in a time where, we need happy endings. We need to see the love.
Mm-hmm. Do any of you have private theories in terms of how this fracturing of society initially emerged?
I've been thinking lately that, the history of other countries that are much older than ours, the history is in larger sweeps. There was a civil war, and then this happened, and then this faction took over. And we're such a young country that I still think there's like one big sweep, including how this country began. The Native Americans and slavery and all those things are sort of coming around. And I don't think they're separate things. I think everything's connected and it's on a big line.
Well, I think it's amazing that Rajiv could take such complicated issues and make them so pithy and entertaining. Thank you all. Thank you also Jeffrey Steinman and the folks at Axe Houghton Foundation for underwriting this Wordsmith Duo commission. Thank you to Rajiv Joseph for writing it, Mark Brokaw for directing, Eisa Davis as Fran, Jeremy Shamos as Bob Tunley, and as agents Vince and Angie, Eden Marryshow, and Amy Ryan. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Playing on Air, Great American Short Plays with Great American Actors. Associate producer, Michelle O'Brien. Literary manager, Bonnie Antosh. Literary assistant, Aditya Pratama. Marketing and communications manager, Shelley Horwitz. Theme and play music, Tom Cochan. Recording and sound design, John Kilgore. Audio editing, Julia Melfi. Playing on Air is distributed by PRX, Public Radio Exchange. For Playing on Air, I'm your host, Claudia Catania. Thanks for listening.